Hi, Mom. Hello to Diep. I brought soup and James's tea. Just what we needed. Thanks, Mom. You remembered the tea. You remembered the tea. Of course, I remember the tea.
Divide that number by 3.
What's that, sweetie?
9.
The answer is 7.
It's peaceful.
You alright?
Done.
Your mother's gotten very good at that.
I'm back. She's been practicing.
You think so?
You?
I know so.
Good to know.
Always.
Hello everyone, and welcome back. You know, we spend so much time trying to protect our children from hard things. We choose our words carefully. We wait for the right moment. We tell ourselves, they're too young. They won't understand. But here is something I have learned over the years. Children understand a great deal more than we give them credit for. They just understand it differently. Today, I want to tell you about the evening Nai asked her mother a question that Diep had been dreading for months, and about the answer that surprised them both. Pull up a chair. Let's take this one together. Now, children notice everything. They just don't always say so right away. They watch. They file things away. They turn it over quietly in their minds the way you turn a stone in your pocket, not making a fuss about it, just feeling the weight of it. Nai had been doing that for a while. Diep notices it first on a Tuesday evening. She is washing dishes after dinner. James is in the living room. Nai is supposed to be doing her reading homework at the kitchen table, but she is not reading. She is watching her father through the doorway, just watching him, very still, very quiet. Nai, Diep says gently, "Your book." Nai looks down at her book, opens it, turns a page, but Diep catches the way she glances back through that doorway one more time before she starts to read. It happens again on Thursday. James is having a harder morning. He is moving slowly, getting confused about small things. He opens the same cabinet twice looking for his glasses, not remembering he already checked there. Diep guides him gently, finds the glasses on the counter where she knew they would be. "Here you go," she says, easy and calm, like it is nothing. "Ah, thank you." He puts them on. "Where would I be without you?" "Right here," she says, just with blurry vision. He laughs. She laughs. And from the hallway, Nai stands and watches all of this. She does not say anything. She just goes and gets her backpack for school. The conversation happens on a Friday night. Nia is in her pajamas. Button is tucked under her arm. Diep is sitting on the edge of her bed, the way she does every night. Just a few minutes. Just the two of them, before lights out. This is their time. Has been since Nai was small. Nai is quiet for a moment, picking at a loose thread on her blanket. Then she looks up. "Mom," she says, "is Dad going to forget me?" Diep is very still. "What makes you ask that?" He forgot where his glasses were. Again, and last week he called me by a different name, and then looked embarrassed. Nai pulls at the thread, and you always make your face go calm when something happens, like you're trying not to let me see. Diep looks at her daughter, 7 years old. 7 years old, and she has been sitting with this all by herself. "How long have you been thinking about this?" Diep asks. Nai shrugs one shoulder. A while. Why didn't you say something sooner? Because you looked like you had enough to carry already. Now I want you to sit with that for a moment. A 7-year-old girl, looking at her mother and thinking, she has enough to carry already. I don't know about you, but that one got me right here. Diep takes a slow breath. She had prepared for this conversation. She had looked things up, read articles about how to explain memory illness to young children, practiced sentences in her head, and now here she is, sitting on her daughter's bed, and all those practiced sentences have gone right out the window. So she just tells the truth. Dad has something happening in his brain, she says. It makes him forget things sometimes, small things at first, and then, yes. Eventually, bigger things too. Nai listens carefully. Will he forget my name? He might, someday. We don't know exactly when. Will he forget yours? Probably yes, someday. Nai is quiet for a moment. That doesn't seem fair, she says. No, Diep agrees. It doesn't. Is he scared? I think so. A little, but he's also very brave about it. Nai thinks about this, turns button over in her hands. When he forgets my name, she says slowly, does that mean he forgets that he loves me? And there it is. The question underneath all the other questions. Diep reaches over and tucks a piece of hair behind her daughter's ear. No, baby, she says. That part stays. The doctors told us. The feelings stay even when the words go. Even when the names go. The love stays. How do they know? Because people with Dad's condition, even on the hardest days, they still light up when someone they love walks into the room. They might not be able to tell you why, but you can see it, clear as day. Nai looks at her for a long moment. So even if he doesn't know my name, she says, he'll still know I'm his? Yes, Diep says. He will always know you're his. Nai nods slowly, like she is filing that away too, putting it somewhere safe. Okay, she says. Just okay. Diep turns off the light and sits in the dark for a moment. Mom? Yes? When it gets harder, can I still help? Like, can I do things? So it doesn't feel like I'm just watching. Diep's chest does something complicated. You can do everything, she says. You are already helping more than you know. Good. A pause. I don't want to just watch. You won't. I promise. A quiet. Then Nai's voice, small and sleepy. Mom, you don't have to make your face go calm around me anymore. I already know. Diep sits there in the dark. Okay, she says softly. I'll try. Here's what I learned that Friday night. We work so hard to protect the people we love from pain, and sometimes, while we are busy protecting them, they are quietly sitting with the very same pain, all by themselves, trying to protect us right back. Diep thought she had been shielding her daughter. Noise had been doing the exact same thing for her mother. Two people, both carrying the same weight, neither one wanting to put it down in case the other one had to pick it up. That is what love looks like in a family. It is not one person being strong for everyone else. It is everyone, even the smallest one, deciding together to carry it between them. The following Sunday, Nai has a plan. Diep figures this out at breakfast when Nee comes downstairs with her hair neatly brushed and button left behind on the bed. That means business. What are you up to? Diep asks. Nothing yet. Nye pours herself some juice. I'm gonna make a book for Dad. What kind of book? A remember book with pictures and stuff, so on the hard days he can look at it, and it can remind him. She sits down. Very matter of fact. I read about it. Some families do it. Diep sets down her coffee. Where did you read about it? The library computer. I asked Mrs. Peterson to help me look it up. She takes a sip of juice. She cried a little bit, but she found good information. Now I just want to pause here. This child went to the school librarian, asked for help, did her own research. 7 years old. Take your time with that. That afternoon, the three of them sit at the kitchen table together. James is having a good day, clear and warm and fully present. Nye explains her plan to him very seriously. I'm making you a book, she tells him. It's going to have pictures of all of us, and I'm going to write who everyone is underneath, so you always know. James looks at her for a long moment. That is, he says carefully, the most thoughtful thing anyone has ever done for me. Nye looks pleased but tries not to show it. I haven't finished it yet. Well, take your time. Get it right. I will. She uncaps a marker. Can you tell me your favorite memory of us, so I can put it in? James leans back in his chair. He thinks about it properly, the way he does when something deserves real consideration. The morning Nye was born, he says, glancing at Diep. Your mother was exhausted, but she kept laughing. I don't even remember what was funny, but she kept laughing, and I kept thinking, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for my whole life, and I didn't even know it. Diep looks down at the table. Nye writes something carefully in her book. Then she looks up. Dad. Yes. Even when you forget things, you're still my favorite person. You and Mom. Tied. James blinks, looks at Diep. Diep shakes her head slightly. She cannot speak right now. Well, James says finally. His voice is not entirely steady. I suppose I can live with Tide. Nye nods seriously, goes back to her drawing, and the three of them sit together at that kitchen table in the Sunday afternoon light. No one says anything else for a while. There is nothing else that needs saying. Here's what I want to leave you with today. Children do not need us to have all the answers. They need us to be honest, to sit with them in the hard parts, to let them help, because helping is how they love us back. Nye did not need her mother to pretend everything was fine. She needed her mother to say, yes, this is hard. And yes, we are going to face it together, all of us. And that little girl, with her neat hair and her library research and her homemade remember book, she reminded her mother of something important. You are not carrying this alone. You never were.